Jon Jones versus the heavyweight fight will happen. Just relax. I'll announce that soon.
Every week that goes by, the suspense surrounding the highly anticipated super fight between Tom Aspenol and Jon Jones only gets bigger. And this week, Aspinall opened up like never before about the situation with Jon Jones, giving a statement that finally excited MMA fans. Check out exactly what Tom Aspenol said that shook the MMA community, where the Brit seemed confident that the fight against Jon Jones is finally going to happen. On top of that, veteran Matt Brown also decided to speak out. The former fighter didn't hold back and slammed the UFC, while also sending a strong warning to Aspinall, saying this: "Don't make the same mistake Michael Chandler did." But before we get into it, I'm less than 50 subscribers away from hitting my goal. Help me out with that. First, check out what Tom Aspenol said, finally bringing some good news to MMA fans after showing optimism and confirming that the fight with Jon Jones really should happen, even saying this was exclusive information. I think we'll get him. We hope so. It'll be the best. He's an unpredictable guy. Everybody's got a different idea of what you should do. Some people are like, oh, you should just leave him and he'll fight you. Then other people are like, the more you talk, the less he wants to fight you. I'm just like, what is this? We're supposed to be professional fighters. We fight each other. That's what we do. I thought that's what we do anyway. Summing it up, Tom Aspenol seems optimistic when he says he believes this fight is going to happen. And the fact that he made it clear this was exclusive information suggests that there have been new conversations with the UFC, and despite being a short statement, Aspinall seemed calmer, so it's possible he knows some backstage info that hasn't been revealed yet. But despite this information that came out today, Tom Aspenol showed a different side in an interview recorded a few weeks ago. Aspinall confessed that this waiting period has been mentally harder than the time he was out with an injury, and he vented at the time saying this: "It's kind of difficult mentally, but this is the fight against Jon Jones. The fight is another thing. This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and I'm trying my best. It's tough sometimes. I honestly can see Jon's point of view," Aspinall said. I get it. It's just about the title for me. I just want the title, that's it. Nothing else really matters, so I get it completely. Get his point of view, get what everybody's saying, completely understand. I just want to prove I'm the best, that's all. Now, I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything apart from weight. So now it's actually a bit more of a tricky time for me mentally than it was then. Even people then were like, "Are you okay? How are you dealing with coming back?" and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I constantly had little goals to work towards. Whereas now it's just like, just be ready and we'll just let you know. This statement shows a transparent Tom Aspenol, completely different from the tough guy we usually see inside the cage. He's dealing with the harshest part of this: sport, politics, uncertainty, the waiting, which hurts more than any injury. And regarding all this, former fighter Matt Brown sent a strong warning to Tom Aspenol, even comparing him to Michael Chandler. Check out what the commentator said about it. "They're not going to strip him either. I look at that just like the Michael Chandler situation with Conor McGregor. Just go fight, bro. Keep your name out there. Keep showing that you are the man to fight him. Keep building your legacy. Keep your name out in the news. Keep showing the world that you, the guy that should be fighting him. If it's true, then your case is going to get stronger and stronger. If you're sitting on the sidelines, it doesn't really help your case as much. I wish there was just a rule set in stone. Like, if you don't defend in this amount of time, you're stripped. That's the way it should be. Unfortunately, it's just up to the PR guys and Dana White, and I'm sure they sit down and have meetings and talk about it. There's just no standard, no guidelines. We're all living in the UFC's world, and it just kind of goes the way they want it to go. You could make an argument either way, whether he should be stripped or not, but it's like ultimately the UFC just decides. The argument is almost irrelevant. The criticism is crystal clear. Time is working against Aspinall. According to Brown, the only way to keep the pressure up is to stay active, keep fighting, keep winning. Not just sit around waiting for a promise that might never happen. And more than that, Brown also said that regardless of the waiting, the only fight that makes sense for Jon Jones is against Tom Aspenol. Any other fight will be rejected by the fans and the MMA community, making it even more clear that yes, Jon Jones has been avoiding Tom Aspenol. As long as he fights Aspinall, if he keeps fighting. However long he waits, we can talk about that. Game all day, but if he comes back and fights again, it just has to be Tom Aspenol. I don't think we're going to really respect any other fight than Tom Aspenol at this point. That's kind of the situation we're in. You are stuck with Tom Aspenol if you're going to keep fighting. Some people are saying he's ducking, or whatever. Well, if he was ducking him, we're going to find out, because there's no other fight out there. And finally, Brown made sure to point out that he understands the business side, but that fighting has always been, and still should be, the core of this sport. Time is precious. Tom Aspenol may feel okay with losing 1 or 2 years of his life waiting, but will he still feel the same way in the future? Or will the Brit regret waiting this long instead of fighting more and more often? That's the question Matt Brown leaves. I just come from a different school of thought. Maybe it's an old school thing, just me personally. When I was fighting, or what I would suggest for others to do, is go ahead and fight as much as you can, fight the best guys you can, and see how things work out. That's not always the best way to go about business and necessarily the best way to make money. But look, you only live once. You're going to look back at 50 or 60 years old, retired, and be like, that whole year I was out, or the 2 years I was out, I wish I would have fought. I think about stuff like that. That's why I would advise something like that, but I totally get the business side too. You gotta get the biggest fight you can and not take all the risk to get there necessarily. The soap opera between Tom Aspenol and Jon Jones is far from over. But hearing Tom Aspenol say he had exclusive info that yes, he's gonna get this fight is pretty exciting. What once looked like the perfect setup for a heavyweight title unification turned into a sea of uncertainty, speculation, and frustration. Aspinall is ready, he's healthy, he wants to fight, and he's hungry to build his legacy even further and prove he's the best heavyweight on the planet. But the other side seems to be playing a silent game of chess, where every move is calculated, delayed, and sometimes even hidden. Jon Jones lives a carefree life after his last fight, and it seems like Tom Aspenol is the last thing on his mind. But what about you? Do you think this fight is really going to happen, or do you believe Jon Jones will end up leaving Tom Aspenol behind and will never get to see this fight, one of the most anticipated in recent years? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can talk about it. Matt Brown gave some important warnings. He compared the situation to Chandler and McGregor, a case that became the perfect example of what not to do. And maybe he's right, because those who get comfortable waiting at the top might end up stuck in the middle. The truth is, if Jon Jones wants to keep the fans' respect, he needs to fight Tom Aspenol. It's the only fight that matters. It's the fight everybody wants to see. And if it doesn't happen, fans won't forgive him. Jon Jones's legacy is massive and deserves respect from anyone. But it's honestly pretty ironic that a fighter of Jon Jones's caliber is acting like a spoiled child who doesn't care about anything and just wants everything his way. Jon Jones has a phenomenal legacy and has even considered retirement without ever giving Tom Aspenol a chance. And yeah, Jon Jones can retire whenever he wants. His legacy is written, and he's already one of the greatest names in combat sports. But one thing is certain, the last page of Jon Jones' entire story would forever be stained by actions that don't match what true champions are made of. And the final memory would be this: Jon Jones, the fighter who stalled an entire division, didn't care about anyone, and in the end, ran away from one of his biggest challenges, Tom Aspenol.